Beloved soul, remember this truth: your life has meaning far greater than the struggles you face today. Jesus Christ reminds us that no burden is unseen, no tear is wasted, and no prayer goes unheard. When the road feels long and your strength feels small, God's grace becomes your strength. You are not asked to carry everything alone. Jesus walks beside you, even in the moments when you feel forgotten. Life will test your patience, your faith, and your courage. There will be days when doors close, plans fail, and hope feels distant. Yet Jesus teaches us that delay is not denial, and silence is not absence. God often works quietly, shaping your character in hidden places before revealing His purpose in powerful ways. What feels like a setback today may be a setup for a greater blessing tomorrow. Jesus showed us that true strength is not found in power or pride, but in humility, love, and trust in God. When you forgive instead of holding anger, when you choose kindness over bitterness, when you keep faith even after disappointment, you grow stronger in ways the world cannot see. The cross itself reminds us that even the darkest moment can lead to resurrection and new life. Do not be afraid of your weakness. Jesus says, "My grace is sufficient for you." Your weakness is the place where God's power shines brightest. Every time you rise after falling, every time you pray instead of giving up, you declare victory over fear. Faith is not the absence of struggle, it is the courage to trust God in the middle of it. Hold on to hope. Keep walking forward. Trust God's timing, even when you do not understand it. Jesus is the light that no darkness can overcome. As long as you walk with Him, your life will never be without direction, purpose, or hope. God is still writing your story, and the best chapters are yet to come. Amen. As Jesus continued His ministry, His teachings began to touch hearts in a deep and personal way. He did not teach like scholars who focused only on rules and traditions. Instead, Jesus spoke with authority rooted in love and truth. He used simple stories, known as parables, to explain deep spiritual realities. Through these parables, He helped people understand God not as a distant judge, but as a loving Father who cares deeply for His children. Jesus taught that true righteousness begins within the heart. He explained that following God is not only about outward actions, but about inner transformation. Anger, pride, hatred, and selfishness were just as harmful as sinful actions because they separate the human heart from God. Jesus invited people to live lives marked by humility, mercy, purity, and forgiveness. One of the most powerful teachings of Jesus was about love. He taught people to love not only their friends and family, but also their enemies. This kind of love was revolutionary and difficult, yet Jesus showed that it reflects the very nature of God. He taught that forgiveness frees the heart from bitterness and allows healing to begin. According to Jesus, love is the greatest commandment and the foundation of a meaningful life. Jesus also gave people hope by reminding them that God's kingdom is near. He taught that God's kingdom is not only a future promise, but a present reality in the lives of those who trust Him. Wherever compassion, justice, humility, and faith are practiced, God's kingdom is revealed. Through His words and actions, Jesus showed people how to live as citizens of this kingdom, even while facing struggles and hardship. As Jesus' influence grew, so did the resistance against Him. Yet Jesus knew that His mission would involve suffering. He willingly walked toward the cross, not out of weakness, but out of obedience and love. Christians believe that Jesus chose the path of sacrifice so that humanity could be reconciled with God. His suffering reveals how deeply God loves the world. On the cross, Jesus endured pain, rejection, and injustice. Still, He responded with forgiveness, praying even for those who harmed Him. This moment stands as one of the greatest examples of selfless love in human history. Christians believe that through His death, Jesus paid the price for human sin and opened the way for forgiveness and new life. The resurrection of Jesus is the heart of Christian faith. When Jesus rose from the dead, it confirmed that death does not have the final word. Fear, sin, and darkness were defeated by God's power. The resurrection gave the disciples courage and transformed them from fearful followers into bold witnesses of hope. After His resurrection, Jesus assured His followers that His presence would never leave them. He promised peace to troubled hearts and strength to those who feel weak. Christians believe that Jesus continues to work in the lives of people today, guiding them, comforting them, and giving them purpose. The message of Jesus is ultimately a message of hope. It tells the world that broken lives can be restored, guilty hearts can be forgiven, and lost souls can find direction. Through faith in Jesus Christ, believers find meaning, peace, and the assurance that God's love is eternal and unchanging. As life continued to move forward, you slowly began to realize something important: healing is not a destination, it is a journey. There were still days when old feelings tried to return. Moments when memories knocked on your heart without warning. But now, you were no longer the same person who used to fall apart so easily. This time, you stood firm. Not because life became easier, but because your faith had grown stronger. You started to understand that faith doesn't mean the absence of problems. It means trusting even when things don't make sense. It means walking forward even when you cannot see the full path ahead. And that is exactly what you began to do. Step by step, day by day, you kept moving. You no longer asked, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you started asking, "What is God teaching me through this?" That small shift changed everything. The pain that once felt like punishment now felt like preparation. The delays that once frustrated you now felt like protection. And the closed doors that once broke your heart now seemed like redirection. You began to notice how far you had come. The same person who once cried in silence was now finding strength in prayer. The same heart that once felt empty was now filled with peace that didn't depend on circumstances. And even when fear tried to whisper lies into your mind, there was a stronger voice inside you now, a voice filled with truth. A voice that reminded you, God did not bring you this far to leave you. So instead of running from your struggles, you started facing them, with courage, with patience, and with faith. You trusted that even if the road ahead was uncertain, you were not walking it alone. Because Jesus Christ was still right there with you, guiding you, protecting you, and strengthening you with every step you took. One day, something unexpected began to happen. Without even trying, your story started to impact others. People began to notice the change in you, the peace in your eyes, the calmness in your words, the strength in your presence. They saw something different, something real. And some of them quietly wondered, how did you become so strong? What they didn't see was everything you had been through. They didn't see the nights you cried alone. They didn't hear the prayers you whispered in your weakest moments. They didn't feel the pain that once broke you. But God saw it all. And now, He was using your story for a greater purpose. You started to realize that your pain was never wasted. Every tear, every struggle, every lonely moment, it was all shaping you into someone who could understand others, support others, and remind others that they are not alone. Your story became a light. You found yourself encouraging people who were going through the same darkness you once faced. You spoke words of hope into hearts that felt hopeless. You became the kind of person you once needed in your own hardest moments. And through it all, you never took the credit. Because deep inside, you knew the truth. It wasn't you alone. It was Jesus Christ working within you. He was the one who lifted you when you were broken. He was the one who gave you strength when you had none left. He was the one who turned your pain into purpose. And now, your life had meaning beyond just surviving. You were living with purpose. A purpose to inspire, a purpose to uplift, a purpose to remind the world that even in the darkest moments, there is still hope. Because if God could bring you through everything you faced, then He can do the same for anyone. And that is the beauty of your story. It didn't end in pain. It transformed into something powerful, something meaningful, something that continues to grow every single day. This is not just your journey anymore. It is a testimony of faith, of strength, and of a love that never fails. And this time, you are not just walking with Jesus Christ. You are shining because of Him. The road of life is not always smooth, yet every step taken in faith adds quiet strength to the soul. Difficult paths often reveal hidden courage. When the weight feels heavy, remember that you do not walk alone. Jesus walks beside every weary heart, turning burdens into lessons and trials into deeper trust. Strength is not the absence of struggle, it is the presence of God within it. Do not wait for perfect conditions to move forward. Begin with the little light you have. A small flame still pushes back great darkness. When you act with love in hard moments, you discover a power greater than fear. Even slow progress is holy progress when guided by faith. Let your weakness teach you compassion. Those who have known pain learn how to comfort others gently. Your scars can become doors through which kindness enters the lives of many. What once hurt you can one day heal someone else. Rest when you must, but do not give up. Pauses renew the spirit, surrender drains it. Each sunrise offers a new portion of grace. Take it, use it, and keep walking. A faithful heart, even when tired, is never defeated. There will be moments when shadows seem to surround every thought. In such times, do not search only for escape, search for light within. Jesus teaches that even a small light, protected and shared, can guide many through confusion. Darkness cannot overcome a heart that chooses to shine. Speak hope when others expect despair. Offer calm when voices grow loud. Your steady presence can become a refuge. Light is not always loud or dramatic, often it is quiet, constant, and patient. A gentle word spoken at the right time can open a new horizon. Do not fear the night seasons of life. Stars appear only when the sky is dark. In hidden hours, new vision is formed. Trust that unseen work is preparing visible beauty. What feels like an ending may be the doorway to a deeper beginning. Carry forgiveness like a lantern. It clears the path ahead and frees the heart behind. Anger traps, but mercy releases. When you forgive, you step into wider space where peace can grow. Let your life become a mirror of the grace you have received. Freely give patience, freely give kindness, freely give understanding. Grace multiplies when shared without calculation. It softens hard places and awakens sleeping hope. Do good without waiting for applause. Quiet faithfulness shapes the future more than loud recognition. The most powerful changes often begin in unseen corners where simple love is practiced daily. Consistency in goodness builds trust that outlives any moment. Welcome others as they are, while gently encouraging them toward what they can become. True love does not force change, it inspires it. When people feel safe, they grow brave enough to rise. Let gratitude guide your choices. A thankful heart sees abundance where others see lack. Gratitude turns ordinary days into sacred gifts and simple tasks into meaningful offerings. Live so that your presence brings rest to troubled minds and courage to uncertain hearts. When grace fills your actions, your life becomes a quiet promise that goodness is stronger than fear, and love is stronger than time.